Good morning, this is Jerry at Skulltronix. We are back in the shop and you are looking at a finished head kit. And I'm going to go over some of the features of it so that those of you who are trying to put this into your own animatronic head will understand how to do it. We're going to start with the neck, and this is this guy right here, and there's a set screw at the bottom to fasten it to a 5/16 shaft. There's a 5/16 shaft. You put that on a 5/16 shaft, tighten down the set screw in the direction you want the skull to face, and away you go. The set screw at the top of the neck is for setting the center point of the pan. And when you get it, it should be already set, so you don't have to mess with that. But if you ever decide to take it all apart, you'll know what that screw is for. Coming up through the neck is a power cable. The white stripe is the positive, the black with no stripe is the negative. You have two DMX cables. One's a male and then one's a female. One's DMX in, one is DMX out. So you can attach other DMX devices. On the front is the device that attaches to the jaw of your character. Now these wires are very long when you get it. They can be easily replaced, and they determine, the length of this determines where your jaw is going to mount, how long your jaw is. So if you have say a duck bill that you want to be very long, you'd leave it long like this. But if you have a character with a shorter jaw, you would cut these wires shorter. Now these wires are held in place by these set screws at both sides, which also function as the pivot bearing, as well as what locks these wires in place. Now the wires themselves are held into this plastic piece, which we use to actually glue into the jaw of our characters, but you could replace this with something else. Now the angle of this piece of plastic is created with set screws that are in the bottom. So you can loosen those set screws to take it apart, or to set the overall angle of this. Now, when you change the length of this wire to match your character, you'll also probably need to change the length of the wire that goes to the jaw servo. So this is your jaw servo. This is a 440 rod that you can cut to a shorter length, and it's shipped much too long for most uses. We have not glued this nut on so that you can take this apart easier, but after you get it all assembled, a little bit of CA glue will hold that nut on better. Okay, moving along. Here's your control board. Oh, we'll get up here where we can see it. The two LEDs plug in here, and you can mount these LEDs wherever you want to mount them for the eyes in your character. We've left the leads fairly long, so you should be able to put them just about anywhere. Then you have your servos. Going through the list, the first servo, which is plugged into port A, is the jaw, then B is the nod, C is the pan, and F is the tilt. And this matches up with what's done in our normal skulls. These are the DMX cables in and out. It makes no difference which one goes where. And then we have the power. The one with the white stripe goes towards the DMX cables. That's the positive. Don't hook those up backwards. These are unused servo ports on this side and a few unused servo ports on that side. Now, how to mount this thing. Down in the bottom, we have our mounting plate and our bearing cap, and then the bottom of the actual mechanism. This is what the bearing cap looks like. You'll see it's got indents on both sides to lock in the bearings, And you'll need a hole in the bottom of whatever head you're creating, the same shape as the outside of this. This is going to stick through the head that you're making. And then you'll screw on the bearing, or the base cap onto that, and that will pinch the head that you're making in between the head kit and here. So this space in here is for your head. If you don't have this much thickness, you're going to have to add shims of some sort to get this. So this piece and this piece should squeeze together and hold your head in place. Sounds like a drug joke. Okay, that's kind of the basics of it. The cables run from here down inside these holes, down into the neck, and exit the bottom of the neck. So they should be pretty well hidden by the time you're all done. Keep the head that you're mounting this in as light as possible. Restrict its motion as little as possible, and you should be good. That's it. Good luck with your head kit.